Okay, first things first, looking at the screen, so you got your name on it, but I just want to go down the list of things, announcements today. So first, I want to talk about annotations. Your annotations will not be graded yet because I have not given you a standard, this is what I expect, in order to hold you responsible for making the standard. And so I'm giving that to you right now. Sorry, guys, you're going to need to turn around. That doesn't mean like anything major, just like sort of squeeze around for a sec. So here we are, today's lesson, annotate Taoism packet. I'm asking you to annotate now, and so here's just a random example of how you will never see me with a book without a pencil or pen in my hand, typically a pen. I'm always, when I'm reading, I'm writing. And that makes reading so much more delicious. And my bookcase there is full of a life of reading, and I can pick up those books that I've read in my 20s, 30s, 40s, and I can see who I was and what I thought as I read them. And it's a wonderful thing, especially when it's a book I've read more than once, in my 20s and then in my 30s. It's an autobiography in a sense. So in any case, how much writing do I expect? How is a good annotator? Yeah, thank you. How does a good annotator annotate? I am a good annotator. You know my evidence? I graduated from college. I'm not bragging. Okay. Two things. One, if you are one of those sorry souls who is rolling your eyes at the idea of annotating a text, I challenge you to ask yourself, have I not yet reached the maturity to understand that smart, creative, cool people, generation after generation, century after century, have found books that they're like, this is awesome, this is so interesting. And so they have lovingly picked up the pen and written in the book. It's called marginalia, to write in the margins. And so those of us who are literate and who love ideas and beautiful writing and all that sort of stuff, yes, we annotate. It's not homework, it's culture. And so I urge you to let yourself mentally and intellectually and culturally mature so that you can see that this is an invitation to the joys of thinking, not the torments of doing homework. I'm showing you this for a couple of reasons. One, you can see that I'm not asking you to write 800 words in the margins. On the contrary, I want you to write as little as possible, but still remind yourself what you saw there. Now, sometimes I will fill up the bottom of a page with 5 or 6 sentences because I've got a fairly complex thought that I do want to actually write. But most of the time, it is enough. There are three things happening on this page that I want to invite you to either imitate or at least observe and develop your own. You don't have to follow mine. Develop your own system of annotating if you don't have one already. And so first, how many of you know about the nature-nurture? How many of you know about the nature-nurture concept in psychology? Human nature, arguments. Well, I know what's going on. Oh, crap. Sorry, give me a sec. It's just a minor computer setting here. Okay, now I can zoom. So what's going on this page? I've got nature and nurture because it's a very, very common and interesting argument. Are we the way we are because of our genes? Genetic? Is it all human nature? Are violent people violent because it's just genetics? Or does nurture, in other words, culture, the home, the parents, the culture, the twerking and the gangster music and all, does that cause violence? Does culture, or in other words, nurture, shape human nature? Or does just genetics? Second, so notice what I've done there. I've identified a pattern that I saw. Trust me, this is Xunzi, the third great Confucian philosopher. He lived 250 years before Christ, late Warring States period. Trust me, he wasn't reading modern Western psychology. How fascinating, I would say in a seminar, that 300 years before Christ, the Chinese are already having the nature-nurture debate. How modern they are. What insights come out of my mouth because I'm identifying patterns as I read that aren't there in the text. I'm not just writing what's in the text. I'm writing what I see there. 2 words show me a pattern that I can just like talk about without having to write it down. What's going on this side, though? Well, he's talking about human nature. So here's a late Confucian, not Confucius, but a late Confucian, Shunzi, who was non-Confucian. He argued with Confucius on certain points. For example, that human nature is evil. That's the name of this essay, Human Nature is Evil. Shunzi is talking about how by nature we do love profit, and that makes us evil, because we just love profit and we'll screw you left, right, and over for the sake of a few extra dollars. I don't care if it makes your mom homeless. I'm in it for the money. I had a booster booth mother refused to give me a refund on the umbrella she just sold me as I walked out into the rain on a stormy day and a gust of wind came and broke the umbrella I just bought from the booster booth. I brought it back and I was like, oh, hello, how are you? Fine, thank you. Listen, I just bought this 5 minutes ago and it's broken. Can you give me another one? No, there's no refunds here. I was like, what? SAS mother? And she said this, we're in it for the money. She said that, and she said it in that accent, and I was like, you are the most odious creature I've ever met in my life. You are the most odious creature, Booster Booth Mom, because you're in it for the money, right? So I tend to agree with Shunzi here. Love of profit does make us nasty, evil people, as Booster Booth Mom showed it. We're in it for the money. I just wanted to knee her in the crotch. Yes?
How will you record it and send it to her by email?
Okay, I'd love to. I think she's gone now because that was several years ago. I hope she is. To the Booster Booth's credit, another woman waited for this nasty harridan witch to turn her back and said, and I came over and she was like, here, sorry, right? So some moms are okay. So in any case, so what is his view of human nature? I just reminded myself, love of profit, envious by nature, we're hateful by nature, and we're sensuous by nature. In other words, they like sex, right? We're horny by nature, and so. But notice what's going on here now. USA and French revolutions. 3 words, because clearly I see somewhere happening in here something that made me think, oh, you know what, I can connect this to the French Revolution of 1789, right? And so they are marks, short marks, annotations, because when you see something that you're like, that's mark-worthy, I just had an idea as I read this, then later you can remark on it because it's remarkable. I want to talk about this. I'm marking it so I can remark on it later, talk about it. My point here is simple. Identify patterns, help yourself with details, but don't write a book in the margin. Trust your brain to fill in the blank parts. Now I know, just looking at this without having to read a single line of text, that at the end, Shunzi is tying ritual and culture. So human nature versus human nurture, to Shunzi, it's not just culture, it's actually Western Joe ritual culture that somehow is the most important thing to shape human nature and make it not evil. All that without reading a single word there, right? So that's what annotation does. If you counted the words of my annotations, you would probably count no more than 15 words. And there are a good 5 or 6 ideas there. Second, I want you to now identify a pattern yourself. Pattern identification does separate the really bright ones from the dull ones. What pattern do you see in the underlining and actual text markup of his text? Look for patterns. What do you see? And please hurry up and tell me. There are at least 2 different things going on in the way I underline. Come on, guys. Thanks, John. What?
It looks like you underline words you want to stress, like it says on the second paragraph, but it is necessary, and you underline necessary. But then you have like
brackets.
The brackets from the meaning you want to look at that whole sentence.
Yeah, and that I was looking. Typically, notice you're doing it just for yourself. But the brackets here are a better example. I've got a closing bracket, which I don't have down here on the thus. What's the main idea of this sentence? The nature of man, right? And so that shows the main idea, basically the topic sentence that we all ask you to write in your own paragraph so that we know what the idea of the sentence is, clearly stated. Humans are born with feelings of envy and hatred, right? And so to bracket things, born possessing the desires of ears and eyes, that helps you see like the main ideas of it. And then, again, so you underline key phrases or words or that sort of thing. Because it's interesting that he says necessary, whatever. All right, so that's all I have to say about that. If any of you want to read anything like Shunzi and so forth, all you have to do is ask because I've got it on ebook. It's incredibly interesting. Now, second, I cannot let you see your test results until after all the absent people have taken it. And so you stay tuned until that. If you think that I have made a mistake in PowerSchool about the grade that you have in there based on your taking of the test, just stay after school and tell me. Don't email me because it's easier if you stand next to me and I go, let's do it right now. Thank you. You just stood there and made sure I did it. Don't send me a million emails, all right? The anonymous feedback forum. Thank you for using it, even if I disagree with you. There have been a few responses lately that have made me go, gosh, I wish I knew who said that really nice thing and said, I would love to have tea with you. Because if I knew who said that, I would go, well, let's have tea. I'm meeting Sohrab Mousleki after school today at the Hawker Center, former HOC student, current Asian Lit student, and we're going to have coffee. I occasionally have coffee at the Hawker Center with these two guys, right? You're people. I'm a person, right? So, and I happen to love this stuff. So if you do too and you want to talk about it more, hello, let's be people and have tea. It's that easy, but not if you're anonymous. Second, if you have a problem or see a problem, I would love for you to hear this. You can trust me. I think I've proven, or at least demonstrated to you, that I'm a pretty decent person. Hint, part of it's because I'm Confucian. I do try to live Confucianism. Will I yell at you? Occasionally. Will I betray you? Never. Will I betray your privacy if you tell me a secret? Never. Will I help you if you need help with a problem? Absolutely. On and on and on. So if you need something solved, but you're afraid that it's going to come down on your head, I can promise you I would never say you are going to be, I will betray your trust. So only use that anonymous feedback thing if you just want to say something like, Mr. Bro, you're so behind in your grades. This is disgraceful. Can you please catch up, right? I get that, right? Do that anonymously. And by the way, I am behind in the grades. And I think you all know why, right? February has been the worst teaching year of my life in terms of distractions and all of that. Cultural convention, interim semester, funeral, back, horrible. So I'm trying to stay on top of things, and it's going to take a while, probably spring break. So that's the anonymous feedback thing. Homework, I've already said, annotate the Dao De Jing. Now, I asked you to have the Dao De Jing out. Let me now pre-teach a couple of things. Students are usually split on Confucianism. Some like it, some don't. And you know why? Because it's really hard to get Confucianism. It seems simple, but because it seems simple, you don't get how deep it is. It is so incredibly rich and deep that it's hard to understand how rich and deep it is because it seems so simple. On the other hand, students typically love Taoism. They're not split. They're like, oh, Taoism's so cool, and it is. So in order for you to be able to do this reading well by next class, let me point out a few things. One, there are two texts in here. I've already introduced them to you. Who was the old bearded man that Confucius talked to when he had that drug flashback while talking to Duke Ling in the war, in the tent? Lao Tzu, right? And so he's talking in the tent, and then he turns around, and suddenly he's like having a drug flashback on a mountaintop because in his college years he took drugs. That's a joke. It's a joke. That's Lao Tzu. And Lao Tzu wrote the Tao Te Ching. And so congratulations, we are now ready to start reading the Tao Te Ching, one of the most beautiful texts in the world. This is the best-selling Chinese text outside of China in the world, the English-speaking world. It's the best-selling text. And it is 88 poems. If you look at the packet, it's numbered, and so those numbers give you a focus. The first one is the Tao and Yin-Yang. Underneath it gives you a prompt. And the prompt is telling you, annotate in search of clues, theories, opinions about this, interpretations about this. So read those prompts and annotate based on those. I have two more pieces of advice on the Tao Te Ching. One is, it is notoriously ambiguous. What does ambiguous mean? What does ambiguity mean? Unclear. I like dual meaning better, because when you're ambidextrous, that means you can throw a ball right-handed or left-handed, ambi, both. In this, it's wonderful for seminars, because this text is famous for having more than one meaning possible. And so maybe it means this and maybe it means that. If you ever say it only means this, there's only one right answer to this, you don't get it, right? So there's no more seminar-friendly text in this one, because it's hard to be wrong when there are so many ways to be right. So how do we read the Tao Te Ching? First, simply put, again, be comfortable with uncertainty. Be comfortable with uncertainty. Second, look for patterns. You're not writing a single word. I don't even know if you're paying attention. You don't seem to be. Look for patterns. Comfortable with uncertainty. Look for patterns. Second, the second text, I think I've told you about Jesus doing stand-up comedy. Bye-bye. Philosophy on acid, it's Zhuangzi. Zhuangzi is the second great Taoist sage. Zhu means master, so master's Zhuang, right? Zhuangzi. Insanely funny at times. Just like WTF material, and I annotate with WTF, and also the interrobang, the great question mark followed by the exclamation point, interrobang, which is just the old WTF, right? Zhuangzi is full of those. You're like, really? What? So, and he's funny, and that's why we love him. His imagination is second to none. He's a miracle of human imagination. But here's the point. So here's the advice here. Laugh and enjoy it. It's supposed to be funny. Let yourself be shocked. But once you finish laughing, start thinking. Because beneath the humor is philosophy. What's he saying? Laugh, then think. Laugh, then think. He's making his points like our best comedians, Louis C.K., for example. Any number of very, very smart, and George Carlin, incredibly smart, also incredibly, funny. Right? Comedy as a vehicle for philosophy. He is also, by the way, not always a clown. Sometimes he's incredibly just lyrical and beautiful, and you're like, oh my God, you are so inspiring. That was so beautiful. That image, that line, that thought. So Zhuangzi is, and he's thick and he's confusing too. Taoism is very confusing. So moving on. The first question asks you, about the Tao and Yin-Yang. I won't pause beyond pointing out that I just said Yin-Yang instead of Yin and Yang. Removing the and is more accurate because it's not Yin and Yang, it's Yin-Yang. I'll let you puzzle over what difference that makes. It does make a difference if you want to. But right now I want to point your attention to the board, or hell, why not? Let's see. Really? I don't have a single image of... Is it hard, fourth block? Is fourth block hard for you guys? Like, in terms of just energy and focus? Okay. Yin-Yang. This is not a Taoist symbol, but Taoism is very, very, very tied into it. My first question is this. Which one is yin and which one is yang? Do any of you know the answer? Quickly.
Yin is the black one and yang is the white one.
Thank you for playing, but that's incorrect. Okay. Oh, no, I'm right. I'm sorry. You're right. Yin is the black one and yang is the white one. My mistake. No, let's keep it Confucian. No, let's keep it Confucian. Let's do Confucian. No. Okay. And notice that yin has a yang at its core, and yang has a yin at its core. So this is very interesting. Now I'm going to teach you how to remember which one is which. And to do that, I have to first set up a couple of concepts and then tell you a dirty joke. The concepts are this. Simply put, at its most simplest level, yin is passive. Passive. So please make just a quick little chart. Yin on one side, yang on the other side, and put a few of the characteristics of each. Yin, black, passive, feminine. Those three things. Yin, black, passive, feminine. Yang, white, active or energetic, masculine. From those simple descriptors, the rest of the universe fits into this symbol. And I repeat, that's not an overstatement. I'm not exaggerating or being silly. The entire cosmos is contained within yin and yang to the Chinese view.
So we see the Taoist symbol.
Taoists make strong use of this symbol. I don't want to go into the history of the symbol because, believe it or not, the symbol came much later than Taoism. But the concepts of yin and yang, let's just stay with the concepts of it, because the symbol was made because it's trying to draw what the Taoists were saying about yin and yang. As far as my researchers have shown, this symbol only entered Chinese history in the Song dynasty around 1,000 years ago, whereas Taoism is 2,300 years old. So anyway, let's get back to yin and yang. The concepts of yin and yang are Warring States period and earlier. They're ancient Chinese. So the symbol itself, no. Back to it. I said the entire universe is contained in this, and it's not an exaggeration. First, the dirty joke. Which ones, without looking? How will you remember in a week which one's yin and which one's yang? By simply saying this. You got to watch me, though. Here comes the dirty joke. You got to watch me. Okay, so which one's feminine? No, which one, yin or yang? Yin. Okay, so yin is feminine. Now here comes the dirty joke. Okay, and yang, it's the longer word, 4 letters, not 3. It's the longer word. So yang, masculine. Let me repeat the image. Masculine, longer. Right? You get it? You get the dirty joke? You get the dirty joke? Okay, all right. Because it's active. It's masculine. It gives life, right? Now I'll tell you why I think it's good to tell dirty jokes. The U.S. Army, using taxpayer dollars, taught me the Arabic language by hiring an expert in how to learn new words, who came and he taught us at the beginning of our Arabic studies. He was an expert on memory. And this is what he told us. If you get a word that you just have a hard time remembering because it's a foreign word, you got to find the dirtiest image you can associated with that word. And And so I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. Why? Because obscene, disgusting, shocking, it sticks in your memory. Here's my evidence. The word in Arabic, khizana. It's got a ch, a z, and a khizana. It means closet. Now, the word closet is not an exciting word, nor is the sound khizana an attractive sound. But I had to remember the damn thing because I was going, having a test, blah, 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 in my Arabic class. And so I was like, khizana, I can't remember bloody closet. Khizana, his honor. That's what we call the judge. His honor, closet. Okay, his honor's in the closet because he's gay. A gay judge in the closet. He hasn't come out of the closet, right? So, okay, so now I remember that was 1998, and I remember now in 2014 the Arabic word for closet, because I pictured a gay judge, not coming out, being in the closet, because Khizan is in the closet. Right? Yin is the short one. Yang is the long one, right? So, all right, good. I love being able to intellectually justify telling naughty jokes in the classroom. All right, because they help. Two more things to think about, and then we're done with this. Do a thought experiment. Remove the outside circular border and pretend that instead it's a square symbol. What does that do to the meaning of the symbol itself? To change it from a circle to a square. What does that do to the meaning of the symbol itself? Look at it and imagine it as a square. How would that change the meaning of it? Hurry, hurry. What does the circle, what does it have to do with continuing? Okay. Yeah, and I'll just, in order to push us through and finish this, doesn't want to, if this were to roll, which way do you think it would roll? Clockwise or counterclockwise? Because it seems top heavy, the black wanting to sort of pitch forward, right? And it does want to roll. Well, if it were a square, it couldn't roll. And so it can't rotate, change. Now, right now, with black dominant on the top, with yin dominant on the top, what season is it? Well, let's go with seasons. First of all, you should be able to, I said, the whole universe fits into it. Let's talk about youth. Is youth active or passive, masculine or feminine? Youth, is it black or white? Old age? Winter? Black, because it's passive. Everything is dying and returning. Summer, energy, life, right? What season is it right now with black in the ascendant, with yin in the ascendant? Winter. Now it wants to turn that 90 degrees, and now, what season is it? Winter, spring, yeah, because white's coming up, right? Yang's coming up, life's coming up. So now we've got spring. And then turn it another 90 degrees. This is on top now, and you've got summer. Now, is this good and evil? Black and white, good and evil. Satan versus God, God versus Satan, good versus evil. Is it? It's harmony. It's harmony. Picture the world without winter. Picture life without winter. It's like Singapore. Now, let's think about youth versus old age. Which is youth? We did that, didn't we? Well, okay. Let's think of life and death. Which is life? Death. Now let's think about the fact that how would life be if there was no such thing as death on this planet? How would life be?
It would be so great.
It'd be boring? I think everybody on it would want to die. If there were no death on this planet, it would be so crowded we would all want to die. My God, because nobody's ever died. We've been through, Jesus. Everybody born since the beginning of time would still be walking around. You talk traffic? Just kill me, right? They are not in conflict. They are in harmony. So opposites, harmonious, contraries, not oppositional ones. So the last point to bring into this is change. Notice, change. Change is necessary. Change is harmonious. One turning into the other. Because notice, even though it's winter right now and summer, or yang, is at the bottom there, what is in the middle of winter itself? Yang, right? In the midst of its dominance, the seeds of its opposite. So you've got opposites constantly transforming into their opposites. Old age becoming youth, life becoming death. But death becomes life too, and on it goes. It is the transformation of one into its opposite, cyclically, eternally. From the universe itself, I can take it all the way to Big Bang, Yang, to Big Suck, when the universe contracts into the singularity again, Yin. I can take it down to the life of a mayfly, born in the morning, dead at noon, right? The entire universe is in this. If you're radically natural and there's nothing outside of nature. So, okay. Change. Change is really important too. Yes? There is a connection between them, but feng shui is more about the different elements in nature: wood, fire, water, earth, metal, and how they should be arranged in order to like give a healthy environment around you, right? So it's a different thing, but it's all from the same period. The Zhou dynasty is the richest thing. I always like want to start reading more and more about the Tang, the Song, the Yuan, but I keep going back to the Zhou because it's just so endlessly rich. And I can only like scratch the surface in this course with you. Feng Shui, for example, is traditional Chinese medicine. It all starts in the Zhou. Okay. I think I'm done. Oh, navigating Moodle. Jesus, look. Okay, so you want to know where your forums are? Go to your navigation, go to my profile, click on forum posts, and then click on posts. You want to start blogging voluntarily? Robert, I'll kill you if you come up and say, how do I find my forums? You want to blog voluntarily? Same thing, my profile, it's on your profile. View my entries in a blog, add a new entry, forums, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Messages. Look in your profile. You can message me straight in Moodle and it'll send me an email. You can message each other too. Let me warn you. I see so much more than you can ever dream. And in fact, some of you are going to find out that I saw what you should not have done while I was absent. And you are either going to confess or you are going to be busted, not only for doing what you shouldn't have done when I was absent, but for them being dishonest and lying to my face about it before I go, oh, really? Really? You want to lie about it? Because, bam. So now let's go talk about the two things that you have just done instead of the one. So again, I see the content of all your messages, so make sure that they are, nothing personal. This is not Facebook. You have no idea. I am God. I see all. The Moodle God. Okay, let's have a seminar. What did he say? Doing the trip. All right. Time to drop the F-bomb.